And 9/11 was a turning point for our nation's military. It has been at war since October 2001 and has grown to meet the challenge with more than 3,000 combat planes and nearly 690,000 personnel. The U.S. Air Force is the world's largest, but with massive government spending cuts kicking in and the war in Afghanistan coming to an end, the Pentagon is being asked to downsize. General Mark A. Welsh is the Chief of Staff of the U.S. Air Force and joins us this morning. General, good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning.
You know, as we're talking about the 9/11 memorial, we should think about, too, our men and women who serve in our armed forces who have sacrificed so much as well.
Yeah, Nora, thank you so much for remembering that. There was a great sketch right after 9/11 occurred of a fireman standing in the debris, handing a tattered flag to a U.S. Army soldier who made a comment something along the lines of, "We've got it from here." And they have. The U.S. Army, the U.S. Marine Corps, supported by the Air Force and the United States Navy, have done phenomenal work since in carrying on the work of the great heroes here in New York City. And we've lost about 6,700 of them in Iraq and Afghanistan since that time. Over 50,000 wounded now. So a great day to remember them as well. Thank you for doing that.
Indeed.
General, you've said, we've mentioned the budget cuts you have to deal with. It's $20 billion out of the Air Force, correct?
Anthony, $20 billion from what we had planned on having as late as 3 years ago.
And you've said there are no easy cuts anymore, and we can't assume money's going to fall from the sky for us anymore. So what do you do at this point?
Well, the key for all the services, not just the Air Force, is balancing the capability, capacity, and readiness we need to be able to answer the nation's call today and be able to do it 10 to 20 years from now with the technology that's going to be required to succeed then. It's a very tough line we're trying to walk. It requires some very difficult choices as we lose that many resources, and they're decisions we have to make as a nation in some cases. So it's not easy work today.
I know your job doesn't involve using a crystal ball or a Ouija board, but some of the things you do have to do is predict the future. And when you look ahead 10, 20 years for the Air Force, what do you see? What concerns you?
Well, I still see fantastic young men and women answering our country's call to service.
A lot of women in the Air Force. Let's talk about that, too.
Yes, ma'am. We have a lot of fantastic women in the Air Force, and we need more, by the way. That's a big focus area of our Secretary Debbie James, and we have so much talent across the board that I see that continuing. I see them continuing to do the nation's business whenever and wherever they're asked, and I see them continuing to be successful. And we'll figure out how to get them the tools and the training they need to get that done. All they want to be is the best in the world at what they do.
General, I'm from a military family, as you know, and have family that serve in the military. And I think, you know, budget cuts become the big story, but really the strain is on the people in the military. And what about your thoughts on terms of, you know, the Warthog, which used to fly, that might be cut, you're recommending that. But what about the people in terms of, like, you know, a pay raise is going to be much smaller than it was in the past? What about the strain on them?
Yeah, Nora, the strain on our people is there all the time, has been for the last 13, 14 years in some pretty high-tempo operations over time.
But how can you advocate for more pay for military and make sure that they don't get, their pay doesn't get cut?
Yeah, nobody's talking about cutting pay, but we've had phenomenal support in increasing pay and compensation, and we have to be careful about the growth rates. We have to control the rate of growth.
Right. It used to be a 3% pay increase, and the latest budget recommendation is just a 1% pay increase, right?
Exactly. We just got to be careful about being able to afford our military over time, which is part of the solution to the nation's economic issues.
Can we remain militarily competitive, if you will? You've got the Chinese and the Russians who are spending more and growing their military with us cutting it like this.
Anthony, I refuse to believe that anyone in our government is going to allow the United States not to have the greatest military on earth, and nobody who's wearing a uniform will keep their mouth shut if that starts to happen. I don't think that's an issue.
Can I ask you, the Pentagon said recently that reports of sexual abuse in the military doubled in 2013 compared to 2014, doubled in just a year. Amidst this vigorous campaign to stop sexual assaults, are we doing enough? Why not take this reporting out of the chain of command?
Nor the reporting, we hope, has gone up because people are coming forward for help now who didn't before. We will know later this year, after we do another survey, whether the incidents have actually increased. We have no indications that they have, in which case we're starting to see a little bit of confidence in the system, which is what we need. We need to be able to develop more trust so that we can help victims more and get it stopping this cancer that's spread inside our service and the others and in society. We have got to take this on.
You're still enjoying this job despite all of the controversy that hits the military, they say this about you. You've got a sense of humor. You wear a Captain America mask on stage, and that you're a regular guy. You still like what you do?
Yeah, that's a Captain Air Power mask.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I love what I do. It's a privilege to do it, and I get to do it with the greatest lady on earth, because my wife, Betty, who happens to be here with me today, we've been married for 36 years now, and she is magic.
Yeah. A good shout out.
Thank you, General.
Military spouses sacrifice a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now I'm swooning. Thank you, General. I love a man that talks about his wife. I love it. Thank you, General Welsh. Good to see you.
Thank you.